Under the dome at BC Place Stadium, the Lions are undefeated. They opened with a romp over Saskatchewan, then beat Edmonton and Ottawa and the Toronto Argonauts, and then down the Winnipeg Blue Bombers twice. So it's a tough task facing the Calgary Stampeders today.
Well, definitely it's different from any other stadium we play in just because it's indoors, and I think the depth perception takes a little bit getting used to as for receivers and quarterbacks maybe. And you got to face it. They have a great home record here. They like playing here, and I can see why. It's a beautiful facility. But over the last couple of years, we've had good success playing here also. So I think we'll have a good game today.
The Lions are trying for their 7th straight victory at home at BC Place. The Stampeders want a share of 2nd place in the West. Off to the sidelines, and the ball bounces to the arms of Mel Bird, and he just goes straight ahead and out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
Well, so many teams continue to kick the ball off in the corners near the sidelines to cut down the area in which a team has to return. It's been very effective. Calgary and BC have done it a lot this year.
This is a very big day in the professional football life of Greg Vavra. He has had other chances in the Canadian Football League, but this undoubtedly is his best chance to establish himself working with the BC Lions and, interestingly enough, working against the Calgary Stampeders. Vavra to Sandusky, but they will lose a yard or maybe 2. Don Matthews has a lot of confidence in Greg Vavra.
Yes, he certainly does. He's felt confidence in him from the very beginning in training camp when he worked hard on the offseason, get that arm stronger. Says he's always had the smarts to play quarterback, but what he didn't have was maybe the physical strength in his shoulder, but he has that now.
He faces 2nd and 11 from the 35-yard line. Lions' first possession of the ball game. Vavra goes down. A great rush by the Calgary Stampeders, who celebrate the sack, and it will be credited to Stu Laird.
Well, Stu Laird started the season off working at the inside. He's been moved to the end. Kuharich said he's one of the best defensive linemen on the team, working one-on-one with an offensive lineman. This time he got some help. A great stunt. Eugene Belleville in the middle. He comes around untouched.
2 plays and 2 losses for the BC Lions, who are moved back to their 31-yard line, from where Louis Pasaglia will punt. R.C. Kopp got past a couple, but the big wave of Lions tacklers was down there. So the Stampeders are going to be near their 45-yard line for Rick Warman's first offensive attempt.
Well, we'll find out how healthy Gary Allen is. He's coming back. Kuharich said he's not quite 100%, but good enough to play, and he has to be because Kirby Warren pulled a hamstring in the latter part of their last game. Andy McVale started fullback. Petros is not quite healthy enough to start yet.
First down, Stampeders at their 45. Comes down as the ball is given to Allen, and he doesn't get much, a yard at most. We'll see what the penalty is about. Referee Ken Lazaruk will tell us.
Offside, BC number 4.
Nelson Martin from his safety position creeping up. They want to be aggressive against the Calgary Stampeders. Interesting call, though, Dave. Short side of the field. They had 3 receivers to this short side, and they tried that running play that was so successful against the Lions the last time they played at McMahon Stadium.
So 1st and 5 from Calgary's 50-yard line. The good news for the Lions, with all their injury problems on offense, is that the defense is back to normal. Brett the Toaster Williams and Larry Crawford have returned for this game. Quick hitter, and Allen has a lot of room, looking to make use of the blocker and get more yardage. Inside BC's 35, he's down at the 33. And the last time the Stampeders under Kuharich played BC, they beat BC largely because of a big game along the ground.
Well, not a lot of teams have been successful. The left side of that offensive line, Lee Spivey, Tom Spolatini, and Bob Poley just hit a quick hitter for Gary Allen to get up in there. The defense pursues quickly, but not enough.
It was Tim Petros who was the rushing star when Kuharich Stampeders beat the Lions. Gary Allen gets a good start to this game with that run from the 33 of the Lions. Stampeders again keeping it on the ground.
A lot of teams feel against this defense of the Lions, that gap cancellation that Matthews talks about so much. You have to be successful. Your running plays have to be quick hitters if you're going to run between the tackles.
It'll be 2nd down and 7 from the BC 30-yard line. Warman hasn't yet thrown a pass. Jay Christensen in motion. Here's the first pass for Warman. Harry Willis is there. Steps out of bounds, but with a first down.
A nifty little move by Willis. He almost was able to stay in bounds. The running back snug up before the ball snapped for full protection on this play because there's lots of pressure coming. Stumble by Andre Francis. Good coverage. Would have been interesting if he could have stayed in bounds and spun back around.
Stampeders moving with runs and with that Rick Warman pass. First down from the BC 18. Draw play, Gary Allen. Taken down by Brett Williams, who grabbed along the ankle of Gary Allen, and they're the quarterbacks who would be in this game if they weren't injured.
At the beginning of every year, you look to a quarterback that's going to start. On the left, Rick Johnson was to be the starting quarterback for Calgary, and Roy DeWalt has that chronic turf toe problem. Both will try to be as much help to their quarterbacks on the field as they can today.
The gain on first down was 5 yards, 2nd down and 5. Stampeders trying to score early. To the end zone, the receiver fell down, but the other one caught the pass. Emmanuel Tolbert got there, and there is a flag, but I think perhaps for interference on another receiver.
Offside, BC. Forward pass interference, BC. Declines. Touchdown, Calgary.
Lots of action going on near the goal line. The receivers are close together, which could mean there could be some bumping going on. With the left hand of Keith Gooch pulling Willis to the ground. There's your interference call. Manuel Tolbert runs a post corner. Is able to turn the defensive back around, get back to the outside. Good throw by Warman, right in the hole.
So the Stampeders score the first time they get the ball. Willis was knocked down, but Tolbert was there to catch it. Is 65 yards for the touchdown by Emmanuel Tolbert. Mel Bird once again kick returning for BC. This is a better run. Had a better chance with more field to work with and got to the 46, 10 yards further than the last time.
He's at 6 plays, 65 yards for Rick Warman. Maybe more importantly, he ate up 4 minutes on the clock, and Greg Vavra would like to do the same type of thing to respond. Get the offense going, mix the plays nicely, and move the ball down the field.
Well, that big run by Gary Allen helped to set it up. You do get the attention of the defense when you crack a big run like that. So the Lions will try to run, and they fumble a handoff. Vavra alert to get it back. That's hardly the way the Lions want to establish their running game.
Well, the timing's just a little bit off on that play. Vavra wants to give the ball to the second back, Anthony Parker, but Krause looked like it hit his hip as he's going by. I'm sorry, it hits Parker's hip. The ball never really gets to the halfback. At least Vavra's on the ball, picks up the loose one.
So the Lions have not moved the ball forward yet on an offensive play. This time they do, but it's well short of a first down. Vavra completes the pass to John Pankratz, but the fans aren't too happy with the result.
Well, going into the game, Vavra and Matthews know that the Calgary defense plays a lot of zone. You have to be patient. You can't go deep right away. You've sort of got to set yourself up playing against that type of defense. Those curl-in plays using Pankratz and Carinci could be the types of things they need early.
for a first down by Bernie Gleer. Enough of that, said Don Matthews. We don't want to give them the ball without making a first down the second time, and they made it this way.
Bisaglia has an option, but right here, you know he's going to throw the football as soon as he picks it off the ground. Bernie Gleer goes up to the first down marker, then parallel. He knows where he is on the field.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders have added to the Hamilton Ticats woes, and that means that Calgary cannot clinch a playoff spot today, which Larry Kuharek hoped to do with a win here and a loss by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. But let's face it, it is a long shot at best that Saskatchewan could get back into the Western playoff picture, and Kuharek knows that. Lions looking to make their second first down of the game. The first one came on a pass by the punter to a linebacker. Fabra for Williams, and the coverage was excellent. In fact, two Calgary defenders wound up battling each other for the ball.
Well, that's that free safety. If you're going to go deep and they're going to mix their defensive coverages up, Calgary likes to keep a safety free. Greg Peterson roams that middle, covers a lot of area quickly. You have to get the ball into the receiver, into the seam, so you don't give him a chance to get over and break it up like that.
So Louis Bisaglia now comes in to punt with a question mark. Yes, this time he does kick it. Richie Hall underneath it. Hall to the 27-yard line. The Stampeders on an Emmanuel Tolbert touchdown are leading 7-0. Calgary 7 and BC nothing. Midway through the first quarter at BC Place Stadium. Stampeders from the 28-yard line. First down. Gary Allen gets nowhere this time. Greg Stuman held him up. And there were several Lions in behind that to make the tackle.
Well, that's the type of pursuit and penetration we've seen from the Lions most of this year. Getting up into the seams, disrupting the blocking scheme of the offensive line. Nothing can happen here. With Williams getting in and into Smith's face so quickly, Gary Allen had to slow down. He slows down, the pursuit pulls him down.
Glenn Jackson had a lot to do with the initial heat on Gary Allen. Here's an injury to a Calgary offensive lineman. That is Tom Spallettini, and that will mean that Donovan Fan, an import lineman, will go in and play. They had him listed as a backup, but felt they would use him. This is why they'll use him now.
Spallettini had to sit out a couple days in practice. Kuharek said he's just been beaten up this year, and this might be just one of the results of the little nicks he's had. But Donovan Fan, a big man, 6'4", 275 pounds, described as quite a specimen by Kuharek.
Warman waits too long and goes down. Walter Ballard with a sack of Rick Warman, that is.
Well, Ballard is going to have to thank his defensive backs and linebackers for that one, because Warman sat back there, had a good opportunity to really see what the defense was doing, and no one came open. Good protection by the offensive line, but there's just so long you can hold a group of this, like this front four out. Look, he can stand back there. It's just like a picture. The picture fell off the wall right near the end there.
Glenn Harper's first punt of the game comes from his 5-yard line. Wobbly ball, and the bounce doesn't take it very much farther. Crawford picks it up. He runs the other way. Larry Crawford trying to get to the far sidelines, but he couldn't do that. Danny Barrett was the Canada Lease MVP Friday night as the Toronto Argonauts beat the Ottawa Roughriders. He rushed for more than 100 yards in addition to passing for over 200. Following this game, we'll be selecting the Canada Lease MVP, a Calgary Stampeder, or a BC Lion. Lions, after Crawford's negative return, go from their 53-yard line and have a tough time with Parker getting the midfield.
And the tough time came from Bruce Green, the outside linebacker. Ever since Green came to Calgary from the Edmonton Eskimos, he's played very well. He was the type of player that got better and better game in and game out, according to Kuharek. And this type of read here, he comes in and just pops Parker.
2nd and 8, Lions from the midfield stripe. Everett just got it away, and the pass was not caught. Sandusky took a good hit as the ball got there. So pressure on both ends of that pass.
The Stampeders are going to bring a couple of extra people here. The front four: Stu Laird, Gene Beliveau, Harold Hallman, and Vince Goldsmith. And once again, close, but no cigar on this one for Hallman. He's become played so much better since Kuharek has become head coach. It's like having the collar take off him. He's really turned that defense loose.
Louis Pasaglia prefers the time he didn't punt. But he completed a pass for a first down. That's not a great kick for Pasaglia. Richie Hall breaks a tackle and goes for yardage. Stampeders are the sharper of the two teams, and the scoreboard reflects that. Spallettini has ice on a twisted ankle. He might return, but till then, Donovan Fan will play the right guard spot as the Calgary Stampeders shuffle their offensive line, as the Lions were forced to do entering this game. Allen gets to the BC 53-yard line where the last Lions drive began, so the combination of a short Pasaglia punt and a good 29-yard return by Gary Allen gives the Stampeders excellent field position. Gary Allen looks to be running like the Gary Allen of a year ago.
Yeah, he really has run hard. He's getting that opportunity to see a little bit of light when he pops up in there. The offensive line of the Stampeders has played so much better and improved so much in the last 5-6 weeks.
Foreman overthrew the receiver, and luckily for him, overthrew the defender, Nelson Martin, who went high in the air and had the best chance to catch it, though it wasn't a good chance.
Well, that secondary, a good group of athletes. They can hook onto a receiver. All the good receivers. As a matter of fact, this defense is the only one that has shut down Brian Kelly this year. You can see on Larry Willis. Tolbert pops outside, but the cover's very tight by Keith Gooch.
Just as well that Warman did overthrow that. And Harper's punt. Larry Crawford with a great game the last time. Punt returning for the BC Lions. The last time he was in this stadium, he ran one back for a touchdown. He almost did the same thing there. So Larry Crawford ignites the BC Lions. He was the star of a victory over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He had 180 punt return yards, and he's got quite a few on that one.
Crawford returning from a bruised tailbone. I'm actually surprised to see him returning punts. You'd want him to keep him healthy, but I guess it's tough to keep a guy out like this. But such great ability, puts a super move on Jeffers, pops it back to the outside.
First down, Lions, Calgary 36. Ray Krause takes the handoff and fights for yardage, close to a first down.
Oh, that last play by Crawford might just be what the Lions need to get them pumped back up, get people off the bench and the sidelines. It's funny, you can prepare for football games and you think you're mentally ready and physically, but you show up in the field and things just don't go your way, and often it takes a big play by a teammate to get people running hard and actually stepping out and knocking people down. And I'll tell you, that's a good job by Krause.
If nothing else, Crawford's punt return got the fans into the game. This fella's happy to be into a game. This is as close as he is to being into a game this season, putting the uniform on. Conridge Holloway doesn't really have the offense fully at his disposal if he needs it, but he says he's prepared to go in and call a few plays.
He has his favorites. This last week was the first time he's actually had a chance to work with the offense. And Greg Vavra feels exactly the same way. You become so much more confident when you can work with the starting group all week.
4:20 to go in the first quarter. The Stampeders are leading, but the Lions are threatening that lead right now. Second and short from the Calgary 26. Vavra will play it safe, give it to Parker, who got the first down, not much more.
Don Matthews keeping football in his family, has a number of sons playing football. One by the name of Mike, he's a linebacker at Oregon State. Some unfortunate news, he had his knee torn up in a game last week after he was voted MVP and as a linebacker against USC. It's unfortunate, and hopefully he'll be able to bounce back from that.
First down Lions from the Calgary 25. Vavra for Sandusky. It's picked off right at the 1-yard line by Ron Hopkins. Sandusky waited to see if he'd get a chance to catch it, and I think he thought he would. But Hopkins picked it off.
Well, I don't think there's any question. Hopkins tries to force Sandusky outside. Sandusky really has him beat to the corner, but you know, Hopkins comes down with the ball, and then the presence of mind to spin around and get his feet back out of the end zone onto the 1-yard line. Just a great interception.
Well, we'll never know what would have happened if his momentum had carried him into the end zone, or if he had gone there, whether the referee would have ruled it was his momentum or not. I think maybe had he continued running there might have been reason to award a safety, but you never know what the referee would decide there. So Hopkins did play it safe, certainly. Now the Stampeders continue to play it safe, handing it off to Andy McVeigh.
Hopkins really one of the bright spots in the secondary this year.
Hey, Hop, I got it.
It's his 6th interception. He leads all defensive backs in the Stampeders.
McVeigh gained a yard, so it's 2nd down and 9. Stampeders from their 2-yard line. Ball was caught by Tolbert, then fumbled by Tolbert, and the Lions have recovered.
Well, Tolbert, when he catches the ball, just before it hits the ground, makes a nice catch, then torn between. Does he drop his shoulder, try to get up the sidelines, or does he dance around and possibly break it, as he has done many times before? But when you stop and wait like this, the pursuit. Glenn Jackson comes over. He's going to get help. Nelson Martin's in there. The ball pops out.
However, there was a flag on the play. Forget all of that. The ball still belongs to Calgary. Second down and 4, and they've got the first down.
Gary Allen getting some help. Good job along the offensive line. Boy, Allen can be so dangerous when he hits into the secondary. He gets into that level where the linebackers stand, and if it isn't for the veteran Jackson sliding across there, Allen would have had more yards.
Well, there are penalties, and then there are damaging penalties, and that was one against BC. Lions offside, and it wiped out. A fumble recovery by Greg Stewart. Another flag is thrown. Pass was a wobbly effort by Warman in Tolbert's direction.
The discussion continues, and we'll find out shortly what the call was. 5 yards, could have been offside again by the Lions.
Offside, BC line, first down repeated.
Boy, it's little mistakes like that. I mean, they could have had them buried. They could the ball turned over. 2 mistakes in a row. They're giving Calgary some breathing room.
Don Matthews wants to know who was it. The announcement was BC line, and that might have meant that everybody was lined up a little too close. Allen is popped as he reaches for the 20-yard line.
After discussion with Kuharich, Rick Johnson sends the play into Rick Warman. That will continue throughout the game, but I'm sure Warman has the opportunity to audible at the line of scrimmage if he sees something in the defense that would stop the play that he has called.
Does Johnson have a chance to send in his own play?
Wouldn't surprise me.
McVeigh on 2nd down and 3 does not have the first down. Rick Johnson knows that it's only about a yard, but I don't know if he influences Kuharich here. He is a gambling coach.
Oh, he's proven that before, hasn't he? He's gone for 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 in midfield. Actually, his success rate's pretty good. That's his style, a gambler.
Not this time.
No, you hear the coaches say, probably to Glenn Harper, punt it to the right side, out of bounds right. We don't want Crawford to get a big return again.
Well, the Lions wasted his last one. The interception hurt, and then the penalty on Colbert's fumble. So Larry Crawford's got to do it all over again to get the Lions back into scoring position. Nice high, deep punt by Harper has Crawford turning and running after it, and the ball bounces out of bounds. That would be considered a perfect punt by Glenn Harper.
Especially when you know he's going to punt the ball right. I mean, that's following instructions. A 54-yard punt, nice little bit of spin, hits the ground and bounces right out of bounds.
He could have used a better bounce perhaps, because that ball was going out of bounds no matter what. Spun out at the 34 of the Lions. Final minute, perhaps the final play of the opening quarter. Vavra got it to Pankratz. He had to throw that like a bullet to get it past the defender Richie Hall. So the Lions turn and change ends, trailing by 7.
It's unbelievable.
The Stampeders on Emmanuel Tolbert's touchdown have the lead. It's 2nd down and 6. Lions from their 38. Vavra has it broken up as he tried to hit Jan Carinci. Larry Hogue stepped in front and knocked the ball down.
Playing behind the receiver, he gets an opportunity to watch the quarterback. Carinci just comes up, thinks he's got a catch, but Hogue makes a nice break on the football and gets that arm in front. As Vavra will see it, he looks to be open. Good defensive play, breaks it up.
Encouragement from Greg Peterson for Larry Hogue's good play. Richie Hall just puts his head down. He knew he wasn't going too far. He got what he could. Underneath that punt for the BC Lions, Kevin Dixon, one of the special teams leaders. Tom Spallettini is back, although still appears to be limping a bit.
Actually, I'm surprised when they showed him on the sidelines, the ice in the foot, the tape had been cut off the ankle, so they must have done a pretty good tape job and probably taped outside the shoe to give him a little bit more support.
So Big Don of a fan goes back to the Calgary bench. The Stampeders go back on offense. Flag comes down, Warman throws, and there were several BC defenders there. Only one Calgary receiver, but another flag came down in the secondary.
I think down the field, Kevin Konar, who was covering Gary Allen, might be called for interference. Up front, it's anyone's guess.
Holding, Calgary, 61. Forward pass interference, 31 BC.
He got the corner penalty correctly, and the Stampeders are happy for that. Otherwise, they'd have been moving back 10 yards.
Well, often when you get an injury, especially to your legs, you try to compensate and use your upper body. You feel you can't move laterally as well, and Spolatini showed his strength there by slamming down Rick Clausen. Unfortunately, it was illegal.
So they'll repeat the first down play and go 1st and 10 from their 43. Screen over the middle to Gary Allen. He had no blockers, but he got whatever yardage he could on his own, and it was a pretty good run by Allen.
You know, Davis, I watched the Calgary Stampeders, and we've seen them a number of times this year. After Kuharich has taken over, it seems like the players are having some more fun when they play the game. It's pretty boring when you've got to come in and day out and do the same thing, and you're not having any fun. Your work should be fun, and that's how they think they should run their football team, and I think people like Gary Allen have responded well to it.
Well, they're much sharper. You can see that there's a whole lot more zip in what they're doing, and really Gary Allen exemplifies that better than anybody today. He, at his best last season, was this type of slashing runner who hit the holes, had some moves, held onto the football, and he's doing it today. It's a first down thanks to Gary Allen, with the Stampeders approaching midfield.
The Calgary offense has probably shown us more diversity in the last month, and I think it comes from the running game. The strong performances of Petros when he was healthy, McVeigh last week against Saskatchewan, Kirby Warren, and today Gary Allen.
Orman throws into coverage, and the Lions knock it away. Andre Francis and Larry Crawford crossed each other and got the ball knocked down before the receiver could get a chance to touch it. Tony Pearson on the wide side.
Great communication in the secondary. Francis knows he's got help behind him. That's why he can take that shot on Pearson. Knows Crawford's going to be coming over top if the man gets behind him.
2nd and 10 for Warman and the Stampeders. Kuharich has popularized that Stampeders sweater. Comes down, and the Stampeders took too long to start that play.
Time count foul, 17 Calgary, 2nd down repeated.
Sometimes that can be caused by the play coming in from the sidelines too late. We have another flag. Again thrown in the
holding, 61 Calgary.
I say thrown from behind Rick Warman, so you'd have to assume someone along the offensive line. And sure enough.
Well, whether Spolatini's ankle is causing him to hang on to pass rushing linemen, I don't know, but that's twice he's been called since returning to the game.
Well, again, I said earlier, when you've got the bad ankle, and it is his left ankle, he has to be able to slide and move that foot, and he can't do it there. He can't stay with Clausen. I don't think Donovan Fan was doing a bad job when he was in there. Why take a chance of getting Spolatini's ankle even worse and frustrating him?
So the Stampeders have gone backwards. Yardage needed, 2nd and 25. Warman is going to run for some of it, and then he changed his mind and threw a pass that was caught by Jay Christensen, but of course it is well short of the first down. Warman was going to be short if he'd continued to run. He decided to toss it off to Christensen and bring Glenn Harper and the punting team on.
A smart move by Rick Warman, realizing he wasn't going to get the first down by running, there was just too much pursuit over by the sidelines. They had a long way to go. Maybe Christensen could make the catch and get the first down. At least they punt from a good spot on the field.
Another nice punt by Harper. Doesn't get this one out of bounds, though, so Crawford will have a chance to return it. Fought off one tackler. Couldn't get by the second and third. And the Lions are inside their 10-yard line after a 49-yard Harper punt. Linebacker Bruce Green getting some attention at the Calgary bench. He's not in there, obviously, as the Stampeder defense tries to pin the Lions near their goal line. It's first down from the 8. Anthony Parker crosses the 10-yard line.
Well, with Green out, Matt Finley will come in and take his spot, the outside linebacking spot.
The biggest plays the Lions have had have been on special teams. Louis Pasaglia throwing a first down pass to Bernie Gleer, and Larry Crawford ripping a big punt return. Offensively, the Lions have sputtered. Long pass to the sidelines, and Sandusky caught it just before he went out of bounds for a first down at the 23.
Nicely thrown football, leading Sandusky to the sidelines. He makes the break. He gets away from the coverage. Greg Vavra is under a lot of heat. The ball's released perfectly. Ball's in the air before he makes the turn. Now he gets to adjust to it.
They put it down at the 22. Vavra faked the draw, then found wide open. Jim Sandusky again to the 45.
Jim Sandusky having an outstanding year. Average per catch is almost 20 yards. That means he's a big play man. He's got 11 touchdowns this year, 10 through the air. I think right here, Greg Vavra gets a good view down the field. Sandusky comes across the middle. That's vacated by a blitzing linebacker.
So Vavra to Sandusky twice has the Lions in good shape. This time he goes to Krause. And the pass receiving specialist in the BC backfield gets another first down.
Greg Vavra hasn't had the opportunity to play a lot this year, so he's not used to a lot of pressure, a lot of things happening in his face, because that doesn't happen in practice. So to stand in there and have confidence in your receiver, he obviously does, especially when he's throwing to Sandusky.
Crazy George leads the BC fans. Anthony Parker, quick hitter, left side, breaking tackles to the 37-yard line.
Well, that's a tremendous call. Vavra has sprinted left and right today, and it looks like he's going to sprint again. Look at the defensive end goes way wide. He's out of the play. That leaves a gaping hole for Parker. Good block thrown for him. He gets up the field.
That almost defies description. Anthony Parker, another run. Bruce Green has gone back in the game, but he's limping a little bit.
These BC fans are wild. I should have stuck to being a doctor. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Get pretty excited. This is worse than Aussie rules.
That's great.
I think that it's your job to discuss these things when we find them.
Self-explanatory.
Ray Krause reaching for the 20-yard line. Another BC first down. So suddenly the Lions offense has come alive.
Well, when you can work on a mix, a little bit of run, a little bit of pass, I think what you do is you make the defense back up a bit. Earlier on in the game, Vavra was maybe being too predictable in his play calling. Now he's doing a good job of throwing a good mix at the defense.
Lions down 7-0. want to do something about that as they go 1st and 10 from the Calgary 22. Again, they fake the draw to hold the rush, but it doesn't hold it well enough. Greg Vavra goes down, and there's a pile of Stampeders there. Stu Laird is on top, and Harold Hallman is on the bottom.
Defense completely disregarding that little bit of fake to the running back. They know it's going to be a pass. Great move right there by Gene Beliveau. Still trying to come after him.
Ball back at the 28. Loss of 6, 2nd and 16. Vavra is popped. Well, Bruce Green didn't have to limp to get there. Clean blitz.
Well, I'll tell you, that was a clean blitz. Green comes through untouched. Everyone else gets a helmet on somebody. But they're coming this quickly. Somebody has to come open a little bit more quickly to give Vavra a chance, because that's just a great shot.
So it'll be a field goal try for Louis Pasaglia. They'll spot it at the 44-yard line. Lions try for their first points of the afternoon. They get the 3 of them. Pasaglia just put it over that crossbar, and the Lions are on the scoreboard for the moment. And Hopkins, with a head start, turned the corner and got to the 52-yard line. Well, Joe Kapp was one of the great names in CFL history. He played for both of these teams, the Calgary Stampeders and the British Columbia Lions, and that's the way Kapp played quarterback. His number 22 retired by the Lions, and he's had quite an influence on the Calgary coach, Larry Kuharich, who told us before the game that Joe Kapp at the University of California for 2 years taught him a lot about winning and a lot about life.
Dwayne Durbin down on the artificial surface, being helped out. It's interesting to you perceive Joe Kapp as being a fiery, all-out type of guy. You watch him play football. Kuharich looks exactly like he would be the same type of player if he had played quarterback. They look very similar. I know he's coming to Calgary in a week or so to speak at a dinner in Calgary, and Larry Kuharich's looking forward to that a great deal.
From one sideline to the other as the 2 running backs try to sort things out. Here's the Calgary running back, Allen, stumbling after taking the handoff from Rick Warman.
Now that they're healthy again, Crawford returning to the lineup, and Brett the Toaster Williams, he's had a hamstring problem all year. Good job of blocking on him right there by the right guard, Rob Smith. One of the leaders, Kevin Konar.
No gain for Allen. 2nd down and 10. Warman threw it. It bounced once before it got to Andy McVeigh, and Warman bounced on the turf and got up, so the Stampeders send Harper back in. Except for the opening touchdown drive for Calgary, the Stampeders have had trouble against this number 1 rated defense of BC.
Look at Carl Fodor from Marshall University. Kuharich thinks he's going to be a good one. Has tremendous speed. Watching him in practice a few weeks ago. Tremendous sprint out ability. He's got a lot to learn.
Harper's been punting very well, out punting Pasaglia. In fact, Sandusky from his 4-yard line. Good running by Jim Sandusky past the 20-yard line. The score remains Calgary 7 and the British Columbia losing streak. The Lions hope that won't be the same for them, but Hamilton lost today at home to Saskatchewan. Tiger Cats now seem resigned to a 3rd-place finish in the East. A pass by Vavra, dropped by Byron Williams. Each wide receiver has dropped one on the young Canadian quarterback today.
Well, he'll continue to go back to Williams. Williams' speed and ability. You like to get him loose, and that type of play can be ideal, especially if the defensive backs and secondary are playing a little bit deep. They get somebody out in front of him, he can turn on the speed and go somewhere.
Just over 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Calgary 7 and BC 3. On 2nd and 10, Vavra pumps once. Still in his feet, throws a pass, and great presence of mind by Vavra to avoid the sack and to pick out the right receiver at the right time. It was Jan Carinci on the end of that play.
Well, not only great presence of mind, but showed some athletic ability here. He's got to get away from the rush and almost hop over somebody. Retains his balance right here when he gets popped. Almost goes down. Carinci turns it around. Spinning Hogue around. Comes back and makes the catch.
Carinci has been in and out of this BC lineup this season. They are a better team with him in there. And here's another Stampeder who is on the limp. That was Rick warming up. But now he plays.
Bernie Morrison returning back into the lineup. They need him in there. They've got him a little bit more involved in the defense this year. He's making some calls. He's their leading tackler with 79, so they'd like to have him healthy. Bob Poley talks upstairs.
Lions at their 48, 2nd and 8. Vavra sidearmed the pass, and Ron Hopkins got up after knocking it away from Sandusky, wondering about some offensive pass interference. No flag. It'll be a kick for the BC Lions. Louis Pasaglia in to punt from the BC 48. Richie Hall starts from his 24. Goes to about the 34.
And then holds a quick meeting with Ray Krause. Richie Hall, the man they call Pint in Calgary because of his size, 5'6", 160 pounds, out of Colorado State. Certainly a great player for Calgary in the last few years and this year.
.241 left, second quarter. Stampeders holding on to a 73 lead, and they have first down at their 34. Foreman to the sidelines, dangerously thrown because Keith Gooch stepped up in front of Larry Willis, and had the pass been better thrown, the Stampeders might have paid dearly for it.
Oh, you're right, Dave, because just a great jump on the football by Gooch. Those balls are usually thrown low and to the outside, so only the receiver can make the catch, but that was close.
Second and 10 Stampeders from their 34. Again, the pass was hanging there, and either man could have had it if one of them could have got back to it, but Willis stopped and Gooch lost his balance.
Coming into this game, Larry Crawford has 4 sacks. This is one of the reasons they pull him up real close to the line of scrimmage, and he comes, and rarely he's touched, and that's why the ball's thrown a little bit low, because Warman's trying to get rid of it a little bit early.
See, he's going with Tony. Tony's wide and row, so if you pop, take the strong side, because he's going outside.
Glenn Harper didn't get all of his foot into this one, and it takes a bounce away from Crawford, then toward him, and Harper is down there. He draws the flag, but I think they'll forget about it because it was the punter Harper who rushed in there and hurried Crawford.
There's no flag in the play. Number 6 Calgary is the punter. First down BC.
That's good hustle by Harper. I wonder why punters, and Lupus Hagley does this too, saw Harper pick the ball up. Every time they come off the field, they pick a ball up and walk around with it in their hands. I mean, I can see a receiver doing it, maybe a quarterback, but
Fabra handed it off. It is fumbled, and the Stampeders say they've got it. And so does referee Ken Lazaruk, and it'll be a fumble recovery for Kent Warnock.
the big man, the Calgary Stampeders' #1 draft choice, and they refer to him as being a little bit crazy occasionally. Tremendous work ethic. They try to get him into the lineup. He's improved every week, and he's just at the right place at the right time here.
Oh, what could be a very important turnover as Warnock continues to celebrate on the sidelines. It's Stampeders from the BC 34. First down. Warman to Tolbert. He skipped under the tackle of Nelson Martin, who said, I had him down, and that's true, but Tolbert will take the gain as it is to the 10-yard line.
Well, Tolbert will be glad Warman didn't lead him too much. He was able to gear down a little bit. Again, that seam in the middle. Nelson Martin reacts to the right side of your screen. That allows Tolbert to go up that seam. Ball's thrown. Leads him nicely into the hole, but it's time to duck.
Orman faked a handoff, but he did not fake Keith Gooch, who was coming on the blitz.
Well, he certainly didn't fake him out, and if Orman could have gotten away from Gooch, he would have had a receiver wide open in the end zone because they were outmanned on the short side of the field. But this is the whole idea of blitzing. Get to the quarterback before he can look downfield. Just a great hustle by Gooch to get him on the ground.
Lost back to the 18-yard line. 2nd and 18 Stampeders. They have J.T. Hay ready if this play doesn't work. Orman does not look to the end zone, goes underneath to Emmanuel Tolbert, and that's rather a strange call under the circumstances.
Well, occasionally when plays are called, you think the defense is going to be in a certain set. BC reacts differently, so they don't get the type of look defensively that they want. Thus, the plays cut short.
It is 3rd down from the 12-yard line, and they may go for it.
But did we expect anything else?
Larry Kuharich, unorthodox to say the least. The field goal is begging, and they don't want it. 3rd and 12, and Warman is going to run, and he'll get in. Rick Warman for the touchdown. The gamble pays off.
Rick Warman, it's tough to know if this is a designed quarterback's draw, but he takes 3 steps back after he gets the ball, and the hole opens up perfectly. Bob Poley does a great job of just pinning Brett Williams to the inside, allows Warman to go up the middle and then scoot out to the right. If that wasn't a design play, it was a great change of mind by Warman.
Well, when you go 3rd and 1, they call it a gamble, but this is really a gamble. 3rd and 12, when you've got 3 easy points, the Stampeders gamble and make 7 and lead 14-3. Gary Allen talking about the touchdown he would have had if only Rick Warman could have thrown the pass. Crawford up the sidelines trying to get into the field of play.
2 of the Lions walking wounded, Jamie Terrace and Scott Leckie. Jamie Terrace on the left. The last time we saw him, he was on crutches, so he's graduated off the crutches, and maybe he's just got a hinge cast on. They're both just itching to get back into the lineup, too.
Well, the Lions have 1:25 to do something about the deficit, which has now reached 11 points. Fabra screens to Krause. He didn't go very far.
Certainly didn't get very far downfield. Great reaction by the secondary, Richie Hall. But again, the front 4, Harold Hallman, he's supposed to come free quickly, but not that quickly to set up a screen.
full roll to the right. Now he turns away and accepts the sack put on him by Harold Hallman, who is having himself some game.
Well, when you think he's lining up on the right side of the defensive line, he's going to come all the way around. He fights off the block. Mills is trying to push him to the outside, and they really do a pretty good job. I think the offensive linemen are expecting the ball to be downfield by now. Vavra would have been better to set up behind where they were trying to form a pocket to the outside, then throw the ball.
Well, it was the Lions who were thinking about adding points to the scoreboard late in the first half, but now suddenly the Stampeders can afford to think that way. They've called a timeout. They will stop the clock. It won't start until Pasaglia punts it. And the Stampeders, if they get either a short punt or a long return, might be in a position to add to their lead.
Well, they've got one man back, Richie Hall, but that is not unusual in this game. They've had 11 men up because they can either set up a great return using 11 men and jamming what's up front, or they could put a rush on. Looks like they're going to set up a return.
They only rushed 3 men hard. Here comes the return with Richie Hall. Popped it up the middle. Ran into his own blocker, or he'd have gone farther, but even at that, it's a good return. It's the sort of return the Stampeders wanted when they called the timeout, so there's still a full minute left.
The Stampeders are dropping men back. As you said, they only rushed 3 people, and that's to allow everyone to get back off, get in their lanes. They're supposed to pick up one man out, a specific man, and block him. Looked like it worked pretty well that time.
Almost at midfield, the Stampeders with a minute to go in the second quarter. Warman is going to throw it as far as he can. Willis is there. He's got it for the touchdown. "58 yards, and most of it was in the air from Rick Warman's right arm."
Well, I don't know if I've seen the defensive secondary of the Lions beaten like this. Warman steps up. Stuman has a shot at him, but stepping up into that seam gives him a good look. Willis gets behind the defensive back, Keith Gooch, and he can't get any help from Mel Bird until he's into the end zone. Boy, he's got some great speed.
Larry Willis won a game for the Stampeders in the final minute. The league opener at Saskatchewan, and he has continued to be a big star all season long. 21-3, so just a moment ago the score was 7-3, and it looked like neither team could have many good things to say about the first half. Suddenly the Stampeders are boasting a 21-3 lead.
That quick stutter step right there. Gooch stops moving his feet. He thinks the ball's going to be thrown short. They might be trying to get in the field goal position. None of that. We're going to go downtown with it this time. And I guess that flag's on the towel just to make sure he knows who beats him.
Now Gooch had to do 2 things. He had to turn around and run with Willis, and he also turned around to look for the ball. He didn't do himself any favors when he did that, because he was in a foot race that he had lost the minute Willis went by him.
Well, if confidence plays a big role in the game of football, I'd say this man, Rick Warman, has all that he can use right now, because he's taking charge of this offense and take advantage of situations.
This reminds me of the first Winnipeg at BC game, when the Lions just poured about 18 points on the scoreboard in the last minute and a half of the first half. This time, though, the Lions are on the receiving end of a scoring onslaught by the visiting Calgary Stampeders, who have 14 points in a matter of 36 seconds.
Well, coming into this game, you'd think the BC Lions would be revved up, ready to go for a couple of reasons. One, to get off the losing track. Another is to try to make sure that they can have the final playoff game here in BC Place instead of having to go down to Edmonton late in November.
Well, now they might not even have the first playoff game here.
Good point.
Stampeders can suddenly start thinking about finishing second, or maybe even first place. What a story that would be. Ray Krause on the run. Still time for the Lions, because obviously the Stampeders didn't take very much time scoring their touchdown.
Well, there's 39 seconds on the clock, and time will be called with the Stampeder on the ground. Looks like he's got cramps. Pat Clayton and equipment manager George Hopkins are quickly out to see what they can do to help out Lamont Jeffers.
There's an injury, so we got to...
It is a long season, 18 games, and a team that looks good at the start isn't necessarily that way at the end. The Hamilton Tiger Cats, the defending Grey Cup champions, had thoughts of finishing first in the East. Now they'll have to settle for third, it looks like. Calgary Stampeders, who for the longest time were in a battle of sorts with the Saskatchewan Roughriders to see who would finish third and who would be fourth, and now think about second or even first. Scrambling by Vavra. He threw the ball to Sandusky for a first down at the 38.
Well, Vavra's got to hope that no one's going to drop the balls that he's going to throw now, because this is a crucial time to be able to respond to what Calgary just did.
Lions, of course, can still call a timeout of their own. Vavra for Carinci. He'll try to make more with the run. He gets close to the 15-yard line with 13 seconds to go.
Well, this is a time when they can use Lamont Jeffers back in the defensive lineup. He's got cramps. He was out on the last few plays. He comes back in now to take Matt Finley out. And Bernie Morrison will come to the sidelines to talk to the coach.
They rule Carinci down at the 17, so it'll be a first down from there with 13 seconds to go. The Lions deciding exactly how they want to take advantage of the time remaining. Next Sunday, it's Edmonton at Saskatchewan, and then 2 weeks from today, these same two teams will be at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. And as important as this game is to decide who finishes where in the West, so will that one be. Clock is moving. Vavra throws it and almost had it intercepted. And I don't know who he was throwing it to in a BC uniform, but he almost put it right to Bruce Green.
Yeah, it really seemed kind of strange. It looked like everyone was just breaking into their patterns, and Vavra quickly tries to snap the ball in there. The only one that was there was Bruce Green.
8 seconds to go. The only good thing about the incompletion is that it does stop the clock, so they'll have another chance to try for a touchdown, and then see what they want to do about kicking a field goal. That pass is overthrown. Carinci, the intended receiver. The Lions complaining about some interference. But with 4 seconds left, it'll be Pasaglia to kick for 3.
But Gene Beliveau and Stu Laird again putting pressure on Vavra. He had to throw the ball there or take a loss. They've got to come away with something. I know they would prefer a touchdown, but 3 points will do in this situation.
Pasaglia passed from punt formation earlier. There's always the chance that the Lions could fake it in this situation. Pankratz holding for Pasaglia. Oh, he will kick it. They'll take the 3 points that the Calgary Stampeders didn't want earlier. Stampeders, of course, got 7, but the Lions take their 3 to come within 15. Still 1 second on the clock, so the Stampeders will be able to run a play. It is 21-6, and see what the Stampeders want to do with it. Ever conservative is Larry Kuharek. He's asking Rick Warman to look for a receiver downfield. Warman can't find one, so now he decides that wisdom must prevail and goes down at the 46-yard line. Calgary exploded late to take this halftime lead. Lions came out and drove the kickoff along the ground, which they like to do sometimes when they get burned by long returns. Ron Hopkins returned it this time and got up holding his left hand. So Rick Warman goes in as the Stampeders lead 21-6.
Pick up from where you left off. I'm sure that's what's on everyone's mind in the offensive huddle. Keep everything going. If they keep the execution the way it was in the first half, they should have a good second half.
Gary Allen, nice cutback running. Gain of almost 5 yards. He had nothing outside, but saw a hole inside.
Well, I think the play was designed to hit up a little bit sooner than that. Allen sees things close down, then starts to stretch it out. And when he does that, the defense will react, but his quickness allows him to stop and then get straight back upfield. He wants to bring it upfield sooner. Right there. It's closed off by Kevin Konar. Then he stretches him out, plays some games with him, and brings it back up when he finds a seam.
Here's Allen again into the 43-yard line. So the Calgary Stampeders getting good work out of Gary Allen, who was a CFL All-Star last season. Has not had that sort of campaign this time, but this may be Allen's most impressive game all around. And the Stampeders continue to move it. Tim Petros now coming into the game as Allen leaves. Throwing it deep. The Stampeder receivers hold up. The Lion defenders can't get to it. Well, it's an old, overworked question of a football player who isn't playing. Wouldn't you rather be down on the field? But it's never been asked before of this man, John Blaine, because he's never been up here before. 170 consecutive games come to an end today. John, it's got to be an emotional situation not to be down there.
I kind of feel lost. I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing today. I'd rather be down there, as you already said.
Tough week in preparation. You knew what the team had to do. They haven't been playing well. You want to be a player. You want to be part of the resurgence. But what could you do this week to help the mates out?
Well, I've been working personally with Gerald and Jim with their movement to tackle and trying to help out as much as I can there. The other most important thing is just trying to make sure that I can return and get healthy as quickly as I can to get back.
And what's the report on the neck?
We're hoping that I'll be back when we go to Edmonton.
How many of those 170 games could you have used an injury not to play? I mean, you play
Probably
a lot.
Almost all 170 of them.
Well, then we know that if you're out of this one, there has to be a very good reason. The Lions aren't out of it yet, but they need a spark, don't they?
They sure do. I hope the offensive line can play like they did in the last series there and start to bring things together. If they do, I think that'll give the defense an opportunity to work away on the points.
John, the last couple of weeks have been tough on the Lions, not only because of losses, but because of internal matters related to budget. Do you think it's affected this team as much as some other people do?
I sure hope not, because our team has a lot of character here. We've been a very classy team all the way through the last 10 years, and I think the character of the players on here would not let it affect them.
With the caliber of teams you've been playing, though, I think the one thing you've got to focus on is this last few games of the season. Try to get yourself established. I know you want to go after first place. It'd be silly if you didn't, but you've got to put some wins together.
We've got to put some wins together, and it should be starting right now. And this Calgary team is hot. They're making a rush for the playoffs just like everybody else, and they're right in there. If we can't establish the ability to beat them now and the other teams at the tail end of the season, then we need to be rolling when we hit the playoffs if we expect to go to the Grey Cup.
Comments of John Blaine, offensive tackle of the BC Lions. Start another consecutive game streak just as soon as possible.
Thank you very much.
Lions want to get a first down right now. Vavra rushed and he goes down. Stu Laird again, and that Calgary defense is really dominating things. It is a patchwork quilt offensive line for BC today, but the Stampeders are coming on defense all day long. There was a flag down, but apparently it is against the Lions. Holding, and naturally
BC 69, decline. Third down.
Well, everyone they have on the offensive line, there are some changes. They're quality offensive linemen. Don Matthews knows that, but I think it's the communication, not having the guys in there that you're used to playing with, the talking that goes on while the game goes on. It's very important. You have to know where the guy beside you is going to be and what he's going to do.
Saglia from his end zone. No yards, and Darcy Kopp held his concentration to catch the ball and get a little bit of a return. So the Stampeders should be in good shape to add to their lead when we return. Well, there's the ball just nearing the 27-yard line of the BC Lions, so the Calgary Stampeders do have a chance to add to their lead after the no yards penalty. Here they come at Warman. He read it, threw it. Willis came back to the ball and tried to sneak in. I think he's out at the 1-yard line. Great play by Rick Warman to know that that blitz was coming and to play around it with the pass. There's a flag down on the far side of the field.
BC 28, decline.
It is against the Lions. So the play stands, but Willis doesn't. Right now he is down and out of bounds after the catch and run.
Well, we hope it's nothing serious. A great play by Willis and Warman. But Pat Clayton looks at Willis's left leg. He was in an awkward position by the goal line, but as you said, Warman got rid of this ball. You see Williams just comes free immediately when the ball snapped. This is tough on a defensive back. Francis has good coverage, and right there that leg was caught underneath when Martin came over.
Well, Larry Willis made a big catch at the end of the first half, and now another big catch to start this second half. And when you see a player down and injured, it makes you appreciate the streak of John Blaine that much more. I think that the Iron Man streaks in sport, be it Lou Gehrig in baseball or Doug Jarvis in hockey, John Blaine playing 170 football games, have to be the most amazing of all records. To think that, first of all, you can stay healthy for that long, and secondly, you can play that well to go game after game without the coach taking you out. Touchdown by Petros is indicated near the goal line, but indicated by Stampeders only and not yet by a man in a striped shirt.
Time to tighten up, get in a gap, and take away an area where they can run into. Tim Petros, first time in the game, coming off that knee injury, is met by a host of BC Lions. But you talked about John Blaine, especially when he's in a position where every time the ball snapped, he's getting hit. Doesn't have the luxury of a no-hit play.
Second and goal. Warman himself goes in for the touchdown, and the Calgary Stampeders have opened up a 27-6 lead. J.T. Hay will try to make that read 28-6. And this is going to take a real comeback by the Lions, not only to win the game, but just to make it close.
Well, they're certainly capable of it. We've seen them score on defense many times this year. The nail is put into the coffin with that spike. Nothing fancy. Rick Warman takes a quarterback sneak. Everyone on the field and the BC Lions knows what's going to happen, but it's tough to stop when you have to give a yard from the line of scrimmage. And again, a nice drive, well executed.
It's really a different feeling here at BC Place Stadium. The Lions haven't lost a game all season. And here they're being buried by Calgary. Warman has run for 2 touchdowns and he's thrown for 2 more.
Come on, let's go, White.
Are some thoughts, I'm sure, in this stadium about Condridge Holloway. Draw play, and the Lions try to put some rush into their game, and Parker dropped the football. Looks as though the Lions got it back, but in reaching back for it, they lost a yard or 2 of Parker's gain.
Well, Gerald Roper, who's moved from guard to left tackle, is in good position. He's on his knees, and when the ball's popped loose here, it just settles down behind Roper. He's able and has the presence of mind to look around for it and just pick it up. There it is right there.
Ball at the Calgary 52. 2nd and 7. Vavra throws a pass that Sandusky has to reach back for, and in so doing, he denies himself a chance to make a first down.
A little bit underthrown, but I think in this situation, you want to keep what momentum you have alive. Good pair of running backs, good offensive line, good surge can get you the first down here as we see the short yardage team come in.
Sandusky is one who will leave, so will the other wide receiver, Byron Williams. Third and a full yard. Greg Krause will get it, goes to the 40 and into the 38. So the Lions march continues. The fans have not yet cheered a BC touchdown today, and there have been 4 of them by Stampeders.
Well, set the backs to the right side, and then they're coming back left. They're going a little bit wider than the tackle position. Good block by Parker. Kraus just gets it upfield.
First down, BC, Calgary 38. Vavra downfield, and that pass is caught by Jim Sandusky. He is brought back by the tackler, but his forward motion gives him a first down at the 23.
Sandusky really the only bright spot on offense going deep today. Byron K. Williams has been silent, but you look at the contribution Sandusky's made to this team this year, not only as a receiver, but as a punt returner. He's brought back 53 for 428 yards.
Vavra trying to get the Lions into the end zone for the first time today. Hands the ball to Parker. He goes to the 18. I think the Stampeders thought they might see a lot of running from BC today. The Lions haven't tried to run as much as Calgary imagined, but obviously with the Stampeders leading all day, that has something to do with what BC calls in the huddle.
Well, I think the running game is a good way to settle down your offensive line. I think if they had a choice, offensive linemen would rather come off the ball.
And Kratz takes the pass from Vavra for a first down at the 10. The BC fans know that this team is an explosive one, and sometimes the fans get the team going and vice versa. This is not a safe Calgary lead yet, even though it's a large one, 22 points. But if the Lions get something rolling, they can pressure you from both sides of the ball, and we've seen their defense and their special teams score so often that you never want to say they have to have the ball themselves to score and get back in the game. Warman scored on a play like that. Vavra tried it, got only 5, and it'll be second down. They put the ball out at the 6-yard line now.
Lamont Jeffers in the outside linebacking spot has become a more important part of this defense. He's very much like a Delbert Fowler in Winnipeg. Tremendous range, good athletic ability, and reacts well. Lamont Jeffers is coming upfield, but sees Vavra trying to do the draw, folds in underneath and makes the tackle.
Second down from the 6. Vavra throws it. It is caught by Carinci. Can't get into the end zone. He is down at the 1-yard line, and there's little doubt that Don Matthews will say go for 6.
Once again, get ready to go into your short yardage situation. Carinci goes upfield and cuts off the not a block, but almost like a pick right there by Williams. It's tough to cover that going into the flat when the defensive back has to come from the inside and go out.
Good play by Larry Hogue to prevent the touchdown. Now the Stampeders need 12 players playing as well as possible along that goal line to prevent the TD by the Lions. They have Parker and Kraus behind Vavra. And Kraus takes the handoff and doesn't get in. Well, the fans were with them till then, and now the BC fans express their dissatisfaction with the Lions' inability to score a touchdown. Season at eliminating their own turnovers and forcing turnovers by the other team, but not lately. This is the 3rd turnover of the game. Another one occurred on the 1-yard line when Ron Hopkins made an interception in the first quarter. Don Matthews now sees the Lions give the ball away at the Calgary 1-yard line for the 2nd time today. Warman pumps. He's got to try to get out of there now, and he does a nice job of that. Rick Warman, I'm sure, thought he might have to be tackled for a safety, but he ran out of the end zone and made a nice gain.
Yes, he did. He drops back deep about 5 yards in the end zone to set up. The pressure comes more from the left side, but that little opening right there, just behind Gary Allen, he's able to squeak by and use his quickness to get to the outside.
When he pulled that ball down, he had to be thinking, oh no, here we go. I mean, 2 points isn't a big deal with a 22-point lead, but it could change the momentum. You never know. And Rick Warman made the first down out of something that could have been much worse. Sideline pass. Boy, Larry Willis is doing a pretty good job on Andre Francis today. That pass could have been caught by either man, but Willis just positioned himself. Francis couldn't get to the ball. It wasn't a great pass, really.
Well, this catch puts him over 100 again today, and the ball was thrown to the outside. As you said, Francis is all over him, but I think Willis is controlling his body to control Francis's body, not allowing him to go by him to knock the ball down.
He entered this week 3rd in CFL receiving yardage. Larry Willis. Draw play. Fake draw to Gary Allen, and the pass is thrown. They are close to a first down. Jake Christensen's first catch of the day.
Warman again forced out of the pocket. I think he'd like to be a little more settled, but right there, Nelson Martin blitzing from the inside, forces him to the outside, gets around Stuman, and is able to just drop the ball over.
They will measure for a first down as we have 4 minutes and 22 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. The BC Lions' unbeaten record at home obviously in danger as they trail 28-6. It's been rough sledding for the Lions recently, on the field and off the field.
You really look back and wonder how much that ordeal that went on 3 weeks ago has affected the football team, and maybe even holding them down to get back up to where they were emotionally.
Well, I can understand John Blaine saying, I hope we're bigger than that and that we wouldn't be affected by that, but it's hard to watch this team and think that it hasn't had a negative effect. Tolbert catches Warman's pass, goes to the 43-yard line. The Stampeders working on offense, working on defense. This is almost the perfect effort for the Stampeders today, and it's probably been helped by a less than enthusiastic performance by the Lions, but Calgary really does look good.
Oh, they certainly do. You can bet there's coaches across the league just licking their lips waiting to get a hold of the game film to go over it and see exactly what Calgary has done to put guys like Emmanuel Tolbert in that seam up the middle successfully.
Flag comes down. Warman throws a pass at Larry Willis's feet. And we'll check the penalty.
Offside, Calgary number 19.
Tolbert in a hurry to catch his next pass.
Well, the inside receivers use an awful lot of motion.
Offside, Calgary number 19, declined. Second down.
And sometimes when they're going in motion, not get an opportunity to look back, they get a jump on it. And that jump was just a little bit too quick.
So the Lions decline the penalty, bringing 2nd and 10 from the BC 43. Willis again. He had to step in front of a teammate to get his hands on the ball, and because that teammate was there, Willis couldn't catch it. Jake Christensen and Larry Willis. Things are getting a bit ridiculous when Warman can throw to 2 wide open receivers and they bump into each other and force an incompletion.
Well, you look at that, you'd almost think that the inside receiver Christensen was to go up and clear out the area. Willis will come off a little slowly, then come underneath where the path will be left open. Christensen slows down. You see Willis coming across the middle. It's a definite mix-up, but you're right. Either one of them could have caught the football.
And it looked as though even after Willis went up and made his grab for the ball, that Christensen was trying to get it too. Didn't know enough to avoid his teammate. Harper punting to the corner. And I mean, is everything going right? They're going to put that ball out at the 2-yard line. The BC fans are pensive.